Good morning, guys. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. It's my birthday. It's my birthday, and I'll cry if I want to. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. It's my birthday. Guys, gonna go live 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, May 24th, my birthday. Did I tell you it's my birthday? Guys, come to my party. It's not much of a party. We're just gonna chit-chat a little bit here. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, thank you so much. I have over 7,500 subscribers. Thank you. And your favorite topic, besides the Whitakers apparently, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Guys, you know, I want to explain the situation with Gypsy Rose because I'm not a horrific person. I tend to believe people, except when they lie. And Gypsy Rose. So, I found out about her story when it happened. I remember hearing about it and thinking, wow, that's messed up. What's it take for a kid to do that to their mom? And then I kind of forgot about the story. And then I saw the act and I was like, oh, I understand, you know, how that could happen, you know, if a mom is that bad. And then I started seeing the documentaries with Gypsy talking, and I said, oh, she's a liar. She don't tell the truth. And then I started doing a little bit of investigation on my own research, and I said, oh, I don't believe this Munchausen by proxy. I think that there's medical fraud. I think she's in on it. And I think she unalived her mom because she just didn't want to deal with it. And then I started looking because I was thinking, man, I can't be the only one in the world thinking of this. And that's when I found Fancy, who was yelling and screaming the loudest more than anybody, and I mean that in a good way. And she had all this information. And some information I bought and some information I didn't buy. And, you know, I didn't think much of the chromosome disorder or deficiency when Fancy first mentioned it, because there's not much I believed in the medical records, because there's so many lies in the medical records that to believe one thing and not believe something else, how do you know? How do you know? So I just focused on what happened. What happened there? So I went from a person that felt really bad about Gypsy to somebody that really has disdain for her. There is a person, and I believe their name is Kate Marie, who is a true Munchausen by proxy survivor. Her mom had one of her legs amputated below the knee because it had dry skin. If you listen to this young woman's story and her survivor story or survival story in regards to Munchausen by proxy, it would sound a lot like Gypsy's. The problem is Kate's story is true and Gypsy's is a lie, and Gypsy took her story from Kate. And then they tried to shut Kate up. And this is Kristy Blanchard as well. And I believe it because this is what Kate says, and she had emails and text messages and just messages from Instagram and everything. Like it wouldn't come out, like it wouldn't matter if we found out, like Gypsy could do no wrong. And now I hear something about Gypsy being with the Kardashians. I don't understand why they would put poison inside of their water. Gypsy Rose is poison inside of your water, guys. She doesn't tell the truth. She has no loyalty. She'll find out shit about the Kardashians and she'll write a book and sell it. Because that's the way she is. So my timeline for Gypsy Rose stopped. And I got on a different story when Gypsy's story changed so many times that I said, this woman is not telling the truth. She can't be telling the truth because her stories keep changing. And I've talked about that. So, me finding out who Gypsy Rose Blanchard was, I didn't need other people to do that. I just needed Gypsy to keep talking and telling a story many different ways when there should only be one story for what happens. But being that none of these are her stories, but stories she borrowed because she never had Munchausen by proxy, that was just something that was used to garner emotion and support and sympathy and suckered us. Suckered us. How do we feel? This is why I disdain her. I don't need to give somebody sympathy and then have them trample all over it, laugh in my face basically, because there's nothing wrong with them. Because guys, as you know, I cover quite a few cases, a lot of children's cases that are real. It is a spit in the face when Gypsy calls herself a survivor. She's an M-U-R-D-E-R. That's what she is. And she used Nick. And here's what I really think here's what I think happened. And it took me a while to get here. Maybe I'm wrong. There's so many things about Gypsy. We can pick out different parts to her story, and it doesn't make any sense. You know? But the thing that pisses me off about Gypsy is that she did something wrong. And I honestly think, because now you guys have come to me and said, hey, Toddy, you know, what's up with the autopsy? Like, Toddy, there's so many marks on it. Some of you have seen some of those autopsy photos. Here's the thing. In the autopsy report, it says that Dee Dee's wounds occurred over the course of days, not one day, but over the course of days. And she probably suffered during that time. It also says that Dee Dee passed away, deceased, unalive, on the 9th of June. Nick didn't get to Missouri until the 10th of June. How do you explain that? When Nick was in the room saying, I'll apologize to everybody but Dan, that just isn't going anywhere in my head. It's still bouncing around. What is up with that? I think that Dan and Gypsy, or Gypsy alone, did some damage to Dee Dee, but couldn't finish the job. Called Nick in to finish the job. Was going to blame it all on Nick, because if you remember, Nick only had a one-way ticket, and Gypsy bought the ticket for Nick. So why was there only a one-way ticket, and why wasn't Gypsy going round trip? I think that Dan said, I can't go ahead with this. This is crazy. And then Dan said, and I ain't going to wait 8.5 years for you either, bitch. So you're in this alone. Anything's possible with Gypsy Rose. You know why? Because she lies, and we wouldn't know the truth if it bit us in the ass. Because we don't know. But what we do know is that only because of greed and selfishness did Dee Dee have to go. Because at any point in time, Gypsy could have ran away. She said she did before. Why didn't she do it this time? Why didn't she just run away? Why'd she have to do what she did? And remember, during the interrogation, not at any time did she say anything negative about her mom. She said she loved her mom. Her mom was her best friend. Don't be friends with Gypsy Rose. Don't be friends with Gypsy Rose. She's nobody's friend. She doesn't have the capability of doing that. You know what I'm saying? She's in her 30s. How many friends does she have? She can't even stay friends with inmates. With inmates that were there for her. She just does away with everybody. She did away with her mom. Because she's selfish. Not because of any reason other than she's selfish. Because there was never anything wrong with her. The only time something came up wrong with her was when there was a movie involved and a different story that had to be told. And sympathy and compassion for Gypsy Rose. We were manipulated by Hollywood and by Gypsy Rose. Good luck, Hollywood, because with everything that's going on with you, you ain't going to be around too long either. So you get your just rewards for that. Guys, on June 3rd, this shit show is going to come out with Gypsy, and now she's attached, like I said, to the Kardashians. What a joke that is. I guess that this is what we are trying to promote to our young people. Things get tough at home. Come up with a story. Do whatever you want. Hollywood would back you. That's my problem with Gypsy Rose. Is that for no reason she unalived her mom simply because she wanted a different life and didn't have the strength. Gypsy says she's a strong woman. She wants to be a strong woman. You have no way of being strong or showing any strength unless you own up to what you did. And you'll never do that, Gypsy, because you're weak. And stop taking people's survivor stories. That young woman that honestly had Munchausen and supposedly you and your stepmom bullied her. Everybody sees it now. Everybody sees it now. And we know that Kate had Munchausen by proxy because we can see it. And we know that you tell untruths, Gypsy. You're somebody to gossip at. You're a joke. Gypsy Rose, the joke. That's what you've achieved. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Do we still have anybody that's like backing her up here? Is there anybody else that hasn't seen what she did? Are there still people in my comments that think this woman really had it tough and that she did what she did to her mom so that she could escape the shackles that she was under? And she must have ate those shackles because nobody's ever found them. Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me what you think. Do you think that perhaps Gypsy was going to run away with Dan, but that Dan changed his mind and said, yeah, I ain't involved in this. Don't even mention my name. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments. I'm in the comments. Guys, thanks again. Don't forget, 5 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. You're invited. And don't forget, guys, be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind. Never be Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Always be yourself, guys. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. Take care.